Thank you so much for joining me back in this lesson of the Live Branding Academy. I am Marshall Live, your trainer, and you guys, in this module, what we've been talking about is live branding, but specifically, what is branding? What is live branding, and how then can we as entrepreneurs build our brands, all right? So in today's lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the three-step formula to your brand identity, to building your brand identity, to creating your brand identity. Now, in the first lesson, we talked about what is branding, and then the lesson after that, we discussed what positioning is and why brand positioning is so incredibly important for your brand going forward. But in today's lesson, we're going to be covering the three-step formula to creating your brand identity. Now, what is a brand identity? Well, we talked about what branding is. We talked about how to position your brand in the mind of your target audience or the consumer. But now the next question is, and what we really need to formulate is, what is that brand identity, right? Now, don't get this confused with our brand strategy, because our brand identity is going to be a little bit different than our brand strategy. Our brand identity is going to be part of and infused into our brand strategy, which we'll cover in a lesson very, very soon. But today we're going to talk about that brand identity. And really, it's not the whole picture. It's not the whole picture yet. But as we go through the course, the next lesson is going to expand on this. It's going to bring you guys clarity. But I want to give you guys bite-sized, actionable lessons that you guys can use to get started right now today. So, three-step formula to your brand identity. And when we talk about brand identity, you guys, we're really just like, just replace it with your identity. When people talk about you, and for most of you guys in this course, you guys we're building personal brands. We're not out there building big business brands, or most of us aren't building physical product brands that are in this course. Most of us are content creators. And for us content creators, we're really talking about personal branding. And what is that brand identity? What do we want to show up as every day? How do we want to be perceived? Now, we know that branding is simply the reputation that we have when we leave the room. It's the space that we hold in the mind of a consumer. But how do we get there? Right? How do we start the whole entire thing? Go, cool, Marshall, I know what branding is. Cool, you explain positioning, but what is brand identity? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And there's three steps. The first step to brand identity is where, okay? Where. And really, it really comes down to, I say where because it comes down to choosing a platform. It comes down to choosing a media platform when we're talking about personal branding in 2018 and beyond. And when I say where, or I say which media platform, like where do you want to show up? We've already talked about in the last module how to identify your target audience. But now that we have a crystal clear picture of who our target audience is, who that demo is, and how we want to attack them, now we're going to say where. Where do we want to show up? Well, the first question really becomes, where is your audience hanging out online? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Snapchat, YouTube, LinkedIn? Like, where can you go find your ideal customer? Now, you guys, later in the course, we're going to talk about creating an omnipresence, which really is just me, a fancy way of saying I'm being everywhere at once. And in social media and in branding world especially, it's incredibly important to be able to create that omnipresence. But in the beginning, like most of you guys right now who aren't making all the money a month or don't have the complete freedom, who don't have the brand designed yet, first we got to pick one platform and really nail it. Now, for most of you guys watching me, you guys know that I love Facebook. Facebook is my shit. I'm 33 years old, so I've been on it for a long time, and I understand it. YouTube is another great one. I love YouTube, right? Because I love video. I love video content. I love creating it. Now, when we get started though, where? Where are you going to share your message? Now, like I said, we just named a couple examples. For me, it's Facebook, But for live video marketers like you and like it can be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube especially. Really good for video. But you guys got to get absolutely crystal clear. Where is your demo hanging out? If they're over 30, they're probably on Facebook. If they're 20 to 30, they're probably on Instagram. If they're under 20, they're probably on Snapchat. And if you have a how-to video or a do-it-yourself video, or you're really great at spotting trends and then doing things like Jake and Logan Paul, YouTube is an excellent channel. But it really comes down to getting crystal clear on who it is. So the first step of the formula is to figure out where. Where are you going to be? What media platform are you going to be on? Okay? Number 2. The second step in the formula to creating your brand's identity, because the first part of your identity is where are you going to show up every day? Where are they going to go find you? Where do they know you're going to be at every single day so they can go and interact with your content, engage and learn from you, so they can get value from you, but then also so they can click back to your links, so they can get to your offers, right? So the second thing then is going to be what? Now you guys, this might be the most important one. And this really boils down to, what is it that you want to talk about every day for the rest of your life? Like, what is it that you want to talk about? What do you want to share? You guys know that we talked about in the last lesson that branding can literally be anything. Yeah, we made the reference to, milk and bread and buying beer and cigarettes, right? Well, one is a commodity buy and one's a brand buy. But when it really breaks down to it, we explained, remember, that any single category can be branded, and you can create a brand identity in any category, right? Like, look at I only buy a certain type of bread. Like, I love Dave's Killer Bread. Like, it's super healthy, it's nutritional. Like, I love that. That's the brand I buy. I don't buy a commodity. So are you telling me that you can't brand anything? I mean, they branded bread, right? They branded a commodity buy usually, but because they positioned themselves correctly, they created that new category we talk about. Now they're really solidifying and owning that space, right? And that's what having a strong brand identity is all about. So first is where are you going to show up? We're talking personal branding. So where on social media are going to show up? The next is what? What is it that you're passionate about? What is that one thing that like you're just like, whoa, like bro, don't get me started on that, man. I'll talk about it all day. You know what I mean? Like, what is that? Like, what is that thing? What is the thing that like you're doing your work over here, right? You're over here doing your work, but what's that thing that you constantly keep going, like, what is that, right? What do you constantly lose your attention to? Because in 2018 and beyond, you guys, we can create these expert businesses. We can create powerful personal brands solely based around the things that we love and the things that we already know about. And that's the other part of it. When we talk about, your area of genius, like, what do you know? If you had to pick one thing that you could possibly become the best in the world at, like, what would it be? Are you the best, like, euchre player in the world? Do you cook the best okra? Do you ride a unicycle? Like, are you a branding expert? Do you do social media, cut hair, fry chicken, fix computers? Like, literally any category, right? Whatever it is that you love to talk about, you can now brand that, position it with a powerful positioning statement like we talked about the last lesson, and then we can also show up every day and build a community around it. You guys don't worry about not being the top expert. Like, just because you're Tony Robbins doesn't mean you're not a great life coach, right? Like, as long as you're, a day ahead, a chapter ahead, 10 feet ahead of the person below you, that's okay. Too many of us rush off and be like, oh, well, I'm not an expert, so I can't really help people. No, that's not, you guys don't understand how it works. Being a leader and creating a brand is about being able to take that first step, right? So when I step up here to this step, right, I might not be to the top yet, but I can still reach down and go, hey guys, come on, follow me to this step. I know how to get to this step, right? And then I keep learning and growing. I take the next step and I go, come on guys, keep coming with me. And that's the same concept you guys want to have while we're building our brands. So what is it that you want to talk about? What is it that you want to show up every day? Now, you guys know that I love social media. I love explaining to people how social media can change your life. I love explaining to people how it creates time and financial freedom. And I love explaining to people how they can sell what they're passionate about on here. Not only that, I love to talk. Like, I'm animated as fuck. I don't know if you noticed, but I like that shit, right? So what do I want to talk about forever? Like, I want to talk about, like, maybe not forever, but for right now, like, I want to talk about branding and live video marketing. Like, I love it. That's what I want to talk about. But it can be literally anything. What do you want to talk about? So that's the second step in formulating your brand identity. So now the first is where, and let's just do examples for me. Like, for me, my where is just, we'll say Facebook for now, because this is my favorite one. It's the one I make the biggest push on. Although I'm getting real, I hate Instagram. For any of you Instagram people, I'm on it every day. I try my best. I just fucking hate Instagram. So these are the ones that I'm about to make a big push on in 2018. Specifically. Okay? So for me, this is where you're going to find me mostly. Now, I should put down here, I should put Snapchat, because Snapchat's my favorite, but I have the least amount of traction on it because my target audience isn't there. But that's just something I do for myself because I love it. Like I love Snapchat. I don't know why. I think it's so cool. So you'll find me on Snapchat every single day. But these are the platforms. This is my where. Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Where do I want to show up? What am I going to talk about? Well, for me, you guys, we just said it. I'm going to talk about social media. In particular, I'm going to talk about live video. And I also like talking about branding. I think that I love branding. I love the idea of branding because, you guys, I hate selling. I'm a great salesperson, but I hate selling. And we talked in the last lesson that selling is on its way out. Selling is what they did in the 80s and then the 90s. We don't sell anymore, right? We brand because branding is selling, right? So this is where you're going to find me. This is what I want to talk about. See, now we're starting to outline that brand identity. This is the shell. This is the structure of what's going to come next in the next lesson. And then the third and final step to the formula is the how. How? How will you share what? How will you share this, right? Now, largely this is going to depend on where you're found on which platform, on which media platform you choose. But let's be real, because most of these have the capability to do anything, right? With the exception of LinkedIn, if we're talking Facebook and YouTube, you could do a podcast on YouTube. They've got live streaming audio on Facebook, right? You could run live video. You could do regular video. You could write a blog. Like, you can do blogs on LinkedIn. Long form writing on LinkedIn and Facebook is kicking ass right now, you guys. Like, go back and look at some of the posts that I have that are long form blog posts. They're killing it right now. Okay, so when we're talking about how, really what I'm saying is, how do you want to share your information? Okay, now look, there's only three ways. You have three choices, and that's it. Those three choices are video. Choice number one, and the best choice. Live video is better. I'm the live video guy, I have to say that. The second one is audio. Okay, so think podcasts. Podcasts are about to be huge. They're making a massive comeback, you guys. Think about it. When you're busy, when you're driving, when you got something going on, right? Like, you don't have time to sit down and watch a video. How many of you listen to podcasts? Actually, I'm curious. I'm gonna take a little cheap one here. If you guys are watching this, whether it's live or you're coming back and watching the replay, comment below one of your 2 or 3 favorite podcasts, because I'm always in the market for good entrepreneur podcasts, or just good podcasts in general. So, again, you guys, video, audio, and then the last one is written, right? That's it. There's 3. 1, 2, 3. There's only 3 choices that we have in 2018. And moving on, we will move into like AI and AR and all this stuff. And voice activation is going to get really, really big with things like Alexa and developing those skills. And that's going to be like a new age app. But for now, let's just say that the 3 things, the only 3 hows on how can you distribute what you want to talk about, how can you share, how can you bring it to market. We're talking, you have 3 choices: video, audio, or written. Now, people are going to tell you, oh, well, I heard that I have to do video. You don't have to do video, right? Like, does video trump audio and written? Yeah, 100%. They said by the end of 2018 that Facebook hopes to be at least over 80% all video content. That's crazy. Think about that, right? So when we're talking about how, yeah, video reigns supreme, but look, you guys, you don't have to do video. People are like, oh, well, so-and-so said I have to do video, Marshall, and I just really hate video. Like, you guys have to understand, this entire course, my entire brand, my entire fucking being is about you guys not doing shit you hate. I want you guys to stop doing stuff you hate. I want you guys to do the things you love, right? We're going to talk more about outsourcing in the course later, but what I want to talk about is you guys only doing things you want to do. If you suck at it, find somebody else and bring in part of your business to do it. If you hate doing it, bring somebody else on to do it. Stop doing stuff you hate, you guys, okay? So if you don't like video, do audio or written. You know how many people are across the world are still reading blogs? Like, millions of people still read blogs. We just discussed how many people are listening to podcasts every single day. So what I want you guys to take from this lesson is I want you guys now to comment below, and I want you guys to fill this out for yourselves, okay? I want you guys to fill this out for yourselves, and I want you guys to fill out the 3-step formula. What is your where? What is your what? And what is your how? Because this is going to be the bones and the structure to what we do next in the course. So I hope you guys got a little value from this. I hope this gives you some idea on how we're going to start to structure and build our brand identity. And I will catch you guys in the next lesson.